I didn't know Alyssa and Katina were that close of friends, but this moment had Katina vexed.
What is going on?
I just can't take somebody saying, I'm a really good person every 10 seconds. It's funny.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Taste of Reality. I had to check that I'm recording. Yes, I am. My name is Queenie, for those who don't know me, and we are reviewing Married at First Sight. Not Australia. Damn. What are we reviewing, child? Married at First Sight, the Afterparty, episode 5. There's too much Married at First Sight going on this channel, man. But I appreciate the support. I've been seeing the views are going up. Okay, I like it. I like to see it. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and let's break it down. So in this episode, we have Katina, Steve, and Lindsay on the panel. Steve shares the reason why he couldn't match Noi's energy at the honeymoon and was basically saying, you know, I don't want to get caught up in the fairy tale of it all. And I wanted to bring us back to reality that, hey, it's only been 3 days.
I have to reassess the situation, right? Like, let's just come back to reality here. We have known each other for 3 days. I'm not, I don't know if any of you would be comfortable saying I love you in day 3, right? Like, it was just a lot.
She didn't say I love you.
She didn't.
She said, I feel like I am slowly falling in love with you.
And him saying, like, yeah, I have strong feelings for you was right to say in that moment. But she wanted to hear, I'm slowly falling in love with you as well. He did smooth things over with her later, and she was like, yeah, you're right. Maybe I was a little bit hasty in saying the L word. But yeah, they smoothed things over. Somebody else who was very quick to be like, yeah, I love you was Lindsay. She had mentioned on the boat that she was in love with Mark. In love, I don't know how much in love you could be with somebody after 3 days, but she was saying that she was in love with him and wasn't quite ready to share. But on the after show, she did say she told him on the bus ride back from the boat. So although Olo was not in the room, he was called by Katina, and Keisha was like, can you explain how you ended up sleeping with a mother and her daughter? And the long and short of it is he had a cousin who had a disrespectful boyfriend. So he was trying to teach him a lesson, basically. And this is how it happened.
I told the mom, oh, you look beautiful. You should let me take you out sometime. And then the mom got a hotel, and she gave me sex education class. The daughter was sleeping over my cousin's house, and she knew that I was going to be there. And so the night got late, and so I gave her sex ed the same way the mother gave me sex ed.
So you taught her what the mother taught you?
Absolutely.
Listen, man, I know men in my real life who act like him. So it doesn't quite surprise me. It doesn't. It really doesn't. Katina, moving on to Katina. She's trying to explain why she popped off at Lindsay on the boat, right? And her argument was Lindsay started the altercation. You cannot play victim when you are the perpetrator. And then Lindsay goes, well, first of all, you're the one who triggered me.
When I was leaving the airport and you came for me and they had to pull you back, and that moment just put me in a place and I couldn't process it.
So which one is it, Lindsay? Did Katina trigger you or did Ola trigger you? Because at first you were saying it was Ola because he was posturing up like he wanted to fight you. And then you said, do you want to fight as a joke? But now on the after party, you never said you wanted to fight. You said, I don't want to fight. And that it actually was Katina that was posturing to fight you. And Katina is the one that triggered you. Lindsay. It's giving very much Karen. Okay? It's not a good look. Keisha takes this opportunity to explain to Lindsay that there are different nuances in the Black community that other people just don't understand because they are not Black. And the reality is, whether or not something is framed as a joke, there are certain things that people say or things people do towards Black people that put us in danger. More importantly, Black men. Everybody knows this. Whether or not you want to admit it, this is towards white women who use their white fragility. Whether or not you want to admit like, oh, injustice is not out there, but there's a reason why white women on camera be crying, because they take up for that person way more often than they would the black person. And Katina's argument was, in that moment, it was no longer his fight to fight, because I had to step in knowing the potential repercussions it would have if he was the one to step in. I'm low-key surprised because Lindsay does have black friends, and before somebody's like, well, black friends doesn't, I know. But if people want to use, well, I'm not this way because I have black friends. Here's a perfect example of having black friends and still being ignorant towards black issues. So it might not be that deep, but that's how deep I'm making it. So it is what it is. Still keeping on the Lindsay situation. She says that the reason why she was annoyed with Mark and him saying he wants to dial things down is just before they had had sex 3 times that day. He had been bigging up his romantic gesture that he was about to do, building it up. And then he hit her with the, no, let's slow it down. How are you going to be like, yeah, I'm about to rock your world, but let's start at 0? And Katina was coming to Lindsay's defense and saying that you're not going to take me to Pound Town and then want to circle the block back to the first street. Like, huh? Doesn't make sense.
You just consummated your marriage with him, and now you're telling me let's pump the brakes. Like,
right.
Too late. We not pumping nothing. You already did it.
I was like, I regret that we had sex.
Can I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. When was the last time you all had sex before this conversation?
That morning.
Oh, okay. Okay. Understood.
And that afternoon.
Okay. Okay.
And right before that dinner.
That was my question.
Getting a little personal here. For the people who watch my non-TV TV show review videos, oh my gosh, the last guy that I dated basically did the same thing. So he was doing all these things like cooking for me, taking me out, all this stuff, and then we did get intimate, and then he hit me with the, I want us to take things really slow. You see, men? Men will embarrass you. Ooh, men will embarrass you. So anyways, moving on. The 3 castmates are weighing in on the Chris and Alyssa situation, right? And for one time, this is one of few times I actually agree with Lindsay in that if you have to constantly announce that you're a nice person, it's highly unlikely that you are. What's said probably ain't it. I just believe that. For me, when I hear somebody constantly say, "Oh, I'm giving," either you really aren't and you're trying to pose like you are, or you do it performatively and you're forcing it, and that's not your true nature, because your true nature will always shine through regardless of an announcement, right? Then Katina is like, "Well, hold on. Let me advocate for my girl."
I definitely think Alyssa could have went about it in a better way. I know she has a good heart. So like to see her come off that way and the world not having the chance to see like she actually is a kind person, just think it's just a very sad situation.
Yeah.
I find it very hard to believe that she's just constantly misunderstood because, again, I have to reference the conversation she had with her mom. The mom was basically saying, you're going to come off bad on camera. The mom would only say that if she knows that her daughter has a tendency of coming off bad in real life. You can only be misunderstood so many times. At some point, it's just who you are. And if the castmates are seeing it, if your partner is seeing it, if production is seeing it enough to make it a whole storyline, and your own mother is seeing it and warning you against it because she knows you, that's who you are. That's who you are. There's nothing Alyssa could say at this point, I think, for any of the fans to be like, oh, that makes, no. So apparently, onto the psychic vision. Apparently the vision was actually that her soulmate had a lion tattoo. This is something that both Steve and Lindsay heard through the grapevine, but apparently Katina, Alyssa's best friend, didn't hear about it. That's interesting. But things got awkward because Steve has a lion tattoo.
The next morning, we get to the airport, and Noe's crying, and I'm like, what? She's like, something about, like, Alyssa thinks her soulmate has a lion tattoo.
I thought it was an eagle tattoo.
She said that
I'm so
after because
confused.
Noi was upset and she apologized to Noi.
It was switched from a lion, I guess, to diffuse the drama, to an eagle.
Well, this
Bingo.
is why people don't need to go to psychics. Because what is that?
That's what I told
Like,
Noe.
I'm confused.
I go,
You
Noe.
gotta go to psychics.
Steve also has pretty eyes, and that's all Alyssa said. She said pretty eyes and lion tattoo, and then she changed it to eagle because, you know, controversy. But I'm like, not Alyssa trying to do wife swap part 2. We had enough of that last season. Enough. No more wife swap. That show has been discontinued. It was a great show, but it has been discontinued. We're done. Your partner's your partner. You either make it work or you divorce, and that's it. Again, the whole psychic thing, not judging people who do it, but I would assume that it requires you to just let life happen and not to manipulate your future. Alyssa manipulated her future by applying for the show. So therefore, she must have not believed the psychic either. That is the recap on the after party. I wish that the after party would show us like more exclusive stuff from the episode and not just the trailer they showed us from the main episode. But it is what it is. Like, comment, share, and subscribe as usual. And I'll see you in the next one.